You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. How do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.
Welcome, my good friend Joye Maka Unga is live with us today, and welcome to Freedom, Health and Lifestyle. This is personal development with a business plan. And of course, we're on episode 135, where energy goes, attention flows. And we're going to see if we can uncover the secrets to getting results, okay? Because, you know, that's what this show is all about. It's about thinking and doing better. And we all want better, right? Better weather. Right, this is the first thing, right? We had storms here yesterday. It's beautiful today. But look, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click that notification button. You'll learn when we're on, usually around about the same time every week. And I just want to say and give a shout out to my good friend, Joey, the $1 Million Difference Maker, Maka Unga. Say hello.
Hey, good day, good afternoon, good evening. This is Joye Maka Unga here from Sydney, Australia. Mike, I'm so happy and grateful today that we are able to come together and share with our audience, our people that we always look for more, always look to be better in life, and also look for some answers. And hopefully the program that we provide and the information that we share will be able to add value to them, or maybe help them to open their eyes. And Bob Proctor used to say that one of our jobs is to wake people up, realize their full potential in life and go after what they really, really want in life. And so I'm excited to review and also share our experience and our thoughts for tonight.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, you can find Joey here on his Facebook page, facebook.com/Joye.unga. You can learn all about what he's doing. He's got a live event coming up on April 2nd, and I'm sure we'll learn more about that later on today. And of course, you can also find him here on his business page, on his Isogenics business page. Scroll down to the bottom here, and there, beautiful little contact form there. Name, put in your best email, contact telephone number, and let him know a good time to give you a call. And I'm sure Joey will reach out to you and let you know more about what he's doing and how you can get involved if that's what you want. Of course, you can find me here on my website page, which is Pet Sitters Island Academy page. And here you can learn how you can start your own business under our guidance, where you get to keep every penny that you earn. That's what I love about what we're doing here. And Joey, we've got some exciting things that we're doing actually in relation to this kind of stuff. And I might share a bit of that with you afterwards, right? Let me see. Let's get rid of this. How do I get rid of this? I can't see all my buttons. Stop sharing. Right. Okay. So I've got a few videos for us to watch, Joey. Just a couple, right? 3. And I want to get your insights in them, really, because this, where energy goes, attention flows. It's about keeping, it's about keeping your attention on it. Like you were telling us a story there a couple of weeks back about, intentionally acting on the things that you want, but that intention started with an intentional thought. Do you know what I mean? About being kind, being open to helping people and different things like this. And then, of course, those things just happen. So this is kind of carries on from that theme, that energy, what you're thinking about, how things attract to you. Do you know what I mean? So where your energy goes, attention flows. But we're going to get into that. So we'll watch, and then we'll get your comments.
Come still, and to take your attention away from what you don't want and all the emotional charge around it, and place the attention on what you wish to experience. Energy flows where attention goes. You can begin right now to feel healthy. You can begin to feel prosperous. You can begin to feel the love that's surrounding you, even if it's not there. And what will happen is the universe will correspond to the nature of your song. The universe will correspond to the nature of that inner feeling and manifest, because that's the way you feel.
Now, Joe, that's quite interesting, actually. When I think about that, because you start off by talking about, what you don't want. And sometimes we can be thinking about what we don't want and thinking about the problems that we have, or, the lack that we have. And we're thinking about those things. We're thinking about bills coming, bills that we've got to pay, all these different things. We're thinking about how much money we don't have, as opposed to how much money we want to have, and what we might do with it and how we might live, that lifestyle, whatever that lifestyle is, So, what are your thoughts on, on what you don't want versus what you want?
Yeah, Mike, I think we were programmed from early age to always look at what we don't, of the lacking. And that's the program or paradigm that we grow up with. We can hear from our parents. They said, we don't have enough money to pay for your school fee, or sometimes they said, be happy with what you have, be satisfied with what you have, and don't ask for more. And because that's how it's programmed us, and then we grow up. Most of the time, we think about the thing that we are lacking of. And that's why we do this program, because we want to reprogram our mind to think in the opposite way. And, that we talked about it before in the strangest secret. Instead of, the thinking that we are unable to do things in life, we start to thinking prosperity. We start to think about abundance. Because we were born with it, but we didn't just have the awareness that it's already equipped us with from early age. So It can be changed. Bob Proctor told us about it by, having the courage or the guts and the goal to make the decision to change that from lacking to abundance, from poor to prosperity. And, it's a very powerful concept when you understand that, it help you change the trajectory of your thoughts, your feelings, and your action. And when those things are changed, you will expect a result. And that's why, your thoughts, the feeling, and your action, that's intentional, because you moving forward in a direction that you have something to work toward instead of just like a boat on the ocean sailing without a rudder, and you end up in a reef shipwreck somewhere. And I think that's the concept that, but we were born with it, don't think about the things that we really want. And by the time we have fully awareness, and our minds start to develop, and we start reading books, we start to getting mentors, we start to get some experience from other people or OPM, realizing that the things that we think it can't be done, there's some people already done it before. And how they done it? Exactly what Bob Proctor said. They
Just
changed
explain.
something.
Just explain OPM.
OPM is other people's experience. Yes, OPE. Yeah, OPE. Sorry, OPE. Other people experience. OPM is other people's money. In So for me, part of my journey now, I learn from other people's experiences, because they said when you have a mentor, that mentor had been the same like you, their same position. They were just ordinary people, but they bold enough to make a decision, commit a decision to intentionally change something in their life, their feeling, their result, and they go out there with courage and goals and work toward it, and they done it. And when they shared with us, part of the things that I love having a mentor, you learn from the experience. Bob Proctor talked about it. He went to the Navy because his friend went to the Navy. And he just being a follower. He just being conformity. And El Nightingale talk about it, that a human being just conformity, that they always follow what the other did.
Yeah.
So we can change that. And
It was
when we have
interesting
the
what you were
awareness,
saying. Sorry, Joe, for interrupting. It was interesting
no
what you were
problem.
saying about the programming. Because it made me immediately think of Oliver Twist. Please, sir, can I have some more? And then he gets battered. Do you know what I mean? That no, you can't have any more. How dare you ask for more and all this kind. And that's imagine putting a young kid in front of the television for them to watch that message and literally be programmed with what you were talking about. Be satisfied with what you've got. Don't ask for more. Do you know what I mean? And that's literally what is going on. Every day of the week, and
Mm,
we have this burning desire inside of us which we suppress, and we hold it in. We don't allow that ambition to take over, and those goals and those dreams and those desires, we don't allow them to, like you say, to be nourished, to have sunshine sprinkled on them, have water sprinkled on them, to grow. And that's part of what this is about. It's about, you know, like if you're having those, and it's hard to escape that, Joey. It's hard to escape that programming or that paradigm if you don't know that you're trapped in a paradigm. If you don't know you're stuck in it, like this prison for your mind, and that's what this concept is. It's about, breaking free of that so that you can, explore those thoughts and those feelings. It's in the video. Act, walk, talk like you're already there. Do you know what I mean? All of this stuff. But it's a suppression of, of what you want compared to what you've been programmed, and those dominating kind of thoughts and emotions and feelings. Those beliefs that you grew up with, that you have to question and say, I don't actually believe that. I think I can have this. And in that video at the beginning, Bob's talking about, this mind-blowing dream, mind-blowing,
Mm.
like as adults, it's hard to kind of picture that thing, isn't it? Without someone pointing at you and saying, no, you can't have that. What makes you think that you can have that? Well, it doesn't matter what you think. It's what I think. I think I can
Yeah.
have it. I think
Yeah.
I can do it. And it's not even whether I think I can do it or not, because it's like Bob says, you don't need to know how to do it. You just need to know. You just need to want it.
Yeah.
And then you talk about this, acting on, intentionally acting on that thing that you want, and that's what it's about. You've got to, act on it. So you got to think it, feel it, experience it like you already have it, and then, walk, talk, and act like you're already there, like you've got it. So there's no doubt this stuff is, what you're talking about there, that programming is something that you can only break free of with further education. The books, the tapes, all the things that you're talking about. The desire to learn more, want to learn more, and understand that knowledge. Otherwise, we're just living in ignorance, and it comes to a point where ignorance is no longer bliss. Like you just know that you're lacking, you're not doing enough. You talked about it last week, and it was like you say, it was in the Earl Nightingale, we become what we think about. You've got to do more, and you have to. But like, to be honest, I think we already know the secrets to this kind of stuff. The goals, the setting goals. But it's no, you can't just set goals. You have to act on them as well, and you talk about this, you talk about it a lot. Anyway, sorry for interrupting, Joy. It was that Oliver Twist thing, that programming that I just thought, like, it happens from a very young age. Do you know what I mean? It does, doesn't it? It really does.
Absolutely. And we can change it. Like, the video that we listened to at the beginning and the end, and you talk about it, the intentionally is when you act, walk, talk about it. Anything you do, because that's what you think about it all day long. When you talk about it, you act upon it, and you know, do the things that move you toward that things that you really want in life. It's intentionally, because it's like you going somewhere, where exactly where you are right now, and you said, I'm going to Ireland. How I can get there? I know there's a different way you can get there. I can hop in the plane and go from here to Ireland, or whether I have to stop somewhere in Singapore or Dubai or whatever, but I will get there by plane, or I can jump on the ship, So I know where I'm going. So I intentionally do the things, whether I'm going to go by plane or by boat, but I know for sure that I'm going to Ireland. And the how, that's what Bob said. You don't have to know how you can get there. All you have to do is just to make sure this is what I really want. And I want to do this. I want to go to Ireland. I want to travel.
It's true, and that's the first part of it, isn't it? Making a decision, like making a decision, and just making a committed decision. Jesus, Joey, like, you put these words together and it becomes more serious, doesn't it? You make a committed decision, but you do have to spend time thinking about it. That's why the goal card is important. Just having it in your pocket, and every time you touch it, you get that little spark of creation again. Reminding yourself, about why you're doing something. Why, the difference that you're hoping to make, and the changes that you're hoping to make, not just in your own life, but in the lives of thousands of others potentially. So it is important to have goals, but you've got to act on the goals. But again, it starts with making a committed decision, and where does this energy come from? We were talking about it last week, that energy that's flowing to and through you, through these things. And then you have all the distractions, sometimes which are welcomed. Do you know what I mean? I remember saying a while back, You know, like life is made up of, you know, being in the moment, distractions, and then whatever happens in the next 5 minutes. Whether you get back on track or whether you just go down that distraction route and get delayed, losing hours or even days or even weeks. I've done it. I've done it myself. You know, where I have a goal and I set a goal, you know, and that goal is somewhere in the future, maybe a couple of months away, you know, and then 3 or 4 weeks pass and I've literally done nothing about it. Nothing. You know, and I think I've still got time. I've still got 2 months left. Do you know what I mean? You know, but think about how much closer I'd be to that goal if I actually took action. You know, right in that moment, in that time, in that moment. You know, and just did it now. Do it now. You know, like you were saying last week. You know, go out and give it a go. You know, and that's what you've got to do. You know, you've got to go out and give it a go, right? But it's every day. You know, every day. You got hay fever.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know.
It's whatever they're pumping into the air. The chemicals they're pumping in the air, Joey. We'll go down a conspiracy route here today.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Okay. And you know, look, how do you keep focused? You know, how do you keep focused, Joey? How do you keep your attention on it? You know, how do you keep your energy moving towards that thing that you want and keep your attention on it? How do you do that?
Sorry, Mike. The quickest answer I can give it to you and our audience tonight is be in action. Get into action. You know, it's like you want to be in the game, you know, and you talk about this one. You before, if you're in the reserve before the game in, you watch the people play and you want your team to win, and you know your energy is it's increasingly, you're excitingly, you just want to get into it, but you're outside, you know, until you get inside, then you fully immerse in the whole situation. One of the things that I think that hold us a lot of the time from doing what we really want to do in life is we have fear, and we talk about fear a lot. You know, fear can be interpreted as false expectation appear to be real, and you know that's hold a lot of people from getting to that energy, to that uh, vibration, because they hold themselves back, they procrastinate, and because they do that, they don't immerse in the activity to make things happen. And that's why, you know, when you get into action, you make mistake. And when you make mistake, people stay in the mistake mode, and become a professional blamer, blaming the world without blaming themselves. Or you will learn from your mistake when you get into action. You're doing the activity and do the things that move you towards what you really want to go, and really what you really want to do. And then when you get into action, you make those mistakes, and the people who have brain and mind, they think, they're not react. They hold back. They take it. It's like about to crossing the road. If you just go and just cross the road, you're gonna be hit by a car. But if you stand, is this, and watch and listen, then think, okay, I'm gonna take my chance. I learn from what have been. If I cross now without thinking, I'm gonna hit someone. Gonna hit me. But if I look and take a moment to take it in and just really digest my thought process and learn from what happened in the past, I can move safely to the other side. So for me, it's action. Action is it's happening in our professional. Sometimes we are stagnant. We stand still. And one of my mentor in real estate, he told me, Joey, When we stand still, it's we're moving backward.
Mm.
So we have to keep moving forward all the time. Doesn't matter whether you move by 1 step or 2 step or 3 step or 100 meter or 1K, 1,000 meter. You just keep moving forward, and you realize that when you're moving forward, you learn, you grow, and you develop from there. But if you just stand there and scared and worry about other people think about you, worry about what happened if I fail, what happened if I got injury, what happened if I didn't get the result I want, and believe me, you won't get the energy that we're talking about tonight.
That makes sense,
So
Joey. What you're talking about makes a lot of sense, right? Especially when you're talking about the crossing the road analogy. You could walk, you could just be walking, go straight across the road without looking and listening and observing, and you're just going to get flattened, right? Makes total sense. Now you might be lucky on a couple of occasions and just get across the road.
yeah,
You might be completely lucky, but by taking a moment and observing, you increase your chances, getting across the road completely safely, just by taking a moment to observe, your surroundings, so that makes a lot of sense. And then when you're talking about this moving forward, like a lot of times, we kind of stop, and then we stay stopped for a long time. Do you know what I mean? But it made me think about, the book Psycho-Cybernetics, and the missile and how a missile works. It's never always on course. It's constantly, off and then being moved and then laser guided back on course. So the aim and the objective never changes. The course can change,
yeah,
but you're always coming back. You're always coming back, and yes, you'll come off it again, but the missile is always moving forward. It's always
absolutely.
moving, towards its aim. Now it's not always on course, but it always comes back on course. So yeah, makes a lot of sense, Joe. And it also leads us nicely into this next video, right? Let's have a watch.
One thought with another. And if you do that consistently, and if you replace any negative thought, any fear thought, any anxiety thought, any self-limiting thought, any negative expectations, anything that's holding you back, any fear of failure, lack, poverty, rejection, loss, or anything else, if you replace it with a desire thought, and this is the key, fear versus desire. If you keep your mind on what you want and keep it off of what you don't want, as you dwell on your desire, your fears diminish and get smaller. As you think about what you want, eventually, because of the law of substitution, you have less and less time, less and less emotion to think about what you don't want.
All right, Joe. So give me your comments. How do you keep your mind on what you want?
Yeah. I really like this section, replacing fear with desire for success. Straight away, one of Jim Rohn, wise word that still stuck with me in my journey is when your why is strong enough, your excuses disappear, and that's one of the reasons why we don't move forward, or we face our terror that Bob Proctor talked about it, our roading block in life, something that we scared to move forward in life because we don't have a strong why, a strong goal enough to make us move. And it's I learn now in my professional that when I got stuck and I got kind of like don't moving forward, I always remind myself why I do this. And I use my family, I use my wife, I use my kids, because and I said to myself, why I'm doing those things, why I invest in real estate, why I build a business, because I want a better future for my family. And I think I share with you when I was, at one moment I was in a bus, I was travel 1.5 hour each way for 11 years to a same place for work after doing overnight shift, and I didn't have enough sleep. And then I was on the bus and I said to myself, there could be a better way. What I'm doing now, it's going to set us, something for my family in the future when we or our retirement, me and the wife. And then something click, and I said, for things to change, I have to change. For things to getting better, I have to be better. So that's my reason. I think about my family. I think about my future of my family. How can I share this. I grew up in a family that I was the youngest of the family, and I don't have anything of my dad asset. And I remember I took him when he was still alive, and we have quite a like conversation. And I asked him about and my dad never mentioned something about my name in all the thing that he got. And at that time, I was kind of like, where's me in the picture? But then I realized that's the best thing happened to me, because it made me know that I need to have a big desire. I need to figure it out. I have to design my own. I don't have to rely on my dad to give me the lifestyle that I want. I don't have to rely to give me the retirement fund that I really want to have. I don't have to rely on other people to give me to put a roof on my head. That desire to success, because I knew deep down that I was born to be youngest, and I have to accept that. And I thank God He gave me to be the youngest in the family, so that I can, strive more in life, and just go after my goal, have a goal, give a shot, and see what happened in life. But thank God, things changed out for me. God has been wonderful to me, and it goes back to the story about the farmer and the priest. The farmer was working on his farm, in the garden, build his house, and then the priest always come out on the same road every day. And then one day he stopped and asked the farmer, "You and the good Lord have this piece of beautiful garden, beautiful house, and beautiful farm." And he said, "You're right. God has been wonderful to me, but you should see this piece of land when God had him for himself." And that changed the directory, because this person or myself have a strong desire for success. And where I am now, I look back, I'm so grateful that I faced my fear, coming from the small island, have no connection, have no networks, have no friends, I have no mentor. And I decided that I'm going to go after and design my own life, build my own asset, do something about my family while I still have the strength, the energy to go after it. And I'm so grateful where I am now. I'm still learning, Mike. I'm still learning and growing. And I think that's the wonderful things when you intentionally act on something that you really want in life.
Yeah.
You will learn to grow. You will learn to grow. And my family see me growing most of the time, but
Yeah.
I never stop. I just keep going, because I knew the only time that I failed in life is when I gave up in my dream, in
Yeah.
my in my desire to success in life. If I
Yeah.
quit, that's the only time I'm failing. So I just have set my mindset and reprogram my paradigm. I am good enough, you know. And I say that, and I keep telling the lie to me every single day. I'm good enough. I'm worthy. I'm God's highest form of creation. By time I make mistake, I learn, I plan, I do a review and adjust, and at time things start to change. And how do you know the change? People see the change in you. Sometimes you don't realize the change that happened in yourself, your family, but people notice the change, and they
Right.
and some of them they say, "Hey, something is changing, Joey." And then some people they admit it to you. They said, "Look, you have been growing since you move away from the church." We talked about this thing before, you know, and but because of the committed decision and the strong desire, and that's why I love our professional. One of my mentor said to me, In our professional, you got to have a strong desire for success. And it's so true. And you have to willing to be working, and also have the desire to and willing to develop yourself and help other people's. And at the same time, have a go. Go out, and I think I want to live with memories. I shared that with a friend that I took for lunch today. We met in Tonga on a vacation, and we exchanged number. And he's actually a doctor. He's originally from Kenya. He applied for a job in the American Peace Corps in Tonga to be their medical doctor for the volunteers. And he came to Tonga. We met in one of the island, and he came to Australia, and he reached out to us. And I went to him, and I share the same thing with him today. I share with him how things have changed when you decided to change. Things are, when you. I don't wish it was easier for me, but I wish I was better, and I did intentionally the way I am. So in say that, I'm so grateful for allowing me to share a little bit of my journey and also my story. And
Yeah,
this,
but I've
this
got a question on that, Joey.
yeah.
Right? Because obviously, look, you're bringing a desire, right? You're something that you want. Now, I'm going to bring this more towards, business. Excuse me. Because, we're both fans of network marketing, multi-level marketing, whatever you want to call it. The model is brilliant. Okay. And when we look at, I'm just going to share this page. Right. So when we look at this, and you'll be familiar with this, this is, just a business page for, and it's easy to do and it's easy not to do, right? So when we think about all of the, look, we've got product media library, business media library, and in here you have everything. You've got every resource that you're ever going to need, right? I mean, everything, every resource that you're ever going to need to start to get started in your own business. All of the tools are here. Like 90-day kickstart guide. Simple systems. That you can explain, testimonials. All kinds of different things, and brand partner kits. Like if you're thinking about starting a business, right? You can't really go. You can go here, right? And I know this might sound stupid, Joe, right? But you can go. You could go to your website, and someone could be like, "Yeah, I want to start my own business." They could very easily, hold on. They could very easily come to your page here. They could very easily, scroll down here, fill out a contact form. You could get in touch with them, and you can literally hand them a business in a box, right? Everything's there for them. Every tool that they'll ever need, you can guide them. You can't do it for them, right? How does someone make a committed decision? Where do they start? Do they start by deciding what they want? Where do they start? Because, like when I think about network marketing, I think about, even your business exactly, right? Just your business. We could have a look at this page, right? Everything's on it. All the business tools is on it. Everything you're ever going to need is here. You've got the guidance, you've got the sponsor, you've got the coaching, the mentorship. You've got everything that you need, right? What is it that I'm bringing to the table? Desire, my goals, what it is that I want. Because this is just a vehicle, Joey.
Yeah.
This is just a vehicle to get you what you want.
Yeah.
Right? That's all it is. The same way in my business is a vehicle for my lifestyle. That's
Absolutely.
all it is. Now, I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about the difference that we make for people. I'm passionate that we're able to help people feel better about something that makes them feel bad. That's no different from what you do. Someone comes to you and they're like, oh my God, I feel fat, I feel sluggish, or someone comes to you and they're like, hey, listen, there's this, property, there's 24 units in it. Do you want to get involved in it? You're going to make a difference for 24 different families. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's got to be something that you're passionate about, but you've got to passionately want change in your own life, right? Don't you? And this is what we're talking about. That energy, where energy goes, attention flows. So you have to be focused on what you want.
Yeah.
It's not about how you're going to get it. This is just this page here, right? This page here is just a how to do it, right? You can get it by using this page. You can get what you want. You can get change by using this page.
Absolutely.
It's a vehicle to get you where you want to go.
Yeah.
It's not the be all and the end all. The be all and the end all is the aim, the goal, the desire that you want to achieve. That's just a vehicle to help you get there. And you can, what Jim Rome says, you can make a good living, a job. You can. But you can start your own business, and profits are better than wages. You can be super wealthy. Right? This is your own business, which you can start part-time. Do you know what I mean? Around what you're already doing. But again, it's about the mentorship. It's about the goals. It's about the things that you want. It's about being focused on the things you want. And, in the video that we watch at the beginning and at the end, Bob talks about it. Stop listening to those people who are your friends. Stop listening to them. They've got nothing. You've got the same as them. You want more. Maybe you need new friends. I know that's harsh. Joey, you just talked about it. Your life improved when you left a group of people. Your life got better. Because you made a decision. You're going to make a committed decision. Yeah, it's hard. No one's saying it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
Change is hard. Like, damn, this shit hurts. It hurts. It hurts. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Mike, I listen to one of the things that I really like now. I listen to a podcast by a guy called Richard Bliss Brook. He wrote a book called The 4-Year Careers. This is the book, The 4-Year Career, Richard Brook. And I listened to his podcast called, I think, Authentic Network. And the name of his interview program is called the Hero Interview or something like that. And it's like he bring all the successful people, high end, professional, and just interview them. And I went through like maybe about more than 20, close to 30 interview so far. I just listen. Every time I go to the car, I change it. I change my car. I turn my car into a university. And I listen to it. And one of the questions he asks the people who build a business is, what is the biggest mistake you made in your career? And I start to learn the pattern of every answer is, and it's the same with me. And I realized that's one of the biggest mistakes so far I've done, that I need more the people. And I mean, I have desire more for the people to have a better life than for them to have the strong desire to have a better life. So, and I kind of like, it's in our profession, I kind of like chasing them. And I said, look, you need to do this. You need to because I can see the potential in them. I can see their gift, their talents. And because I really want to help them, I kind of like, I realized that I wanted more for them than for them wanted more for them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think I make that mistake a lot. And I am now, I have to be transparent. I frustrate. And I said, why Mike is not doing this? Because I can see this is a vehicle. This is a legit vehicle that will take you from A to B. Eh? And one of the book that I read is the 45-minute napkin by Don Failure. I know he talk about, imagine if you have a vehicle like a Lamborghini, and you bring the vehicle to your friend, and your friends look at the car, and everyone want to drive the car. But at first, you can't give them the key because they have to learn some skill. They have to study to know how to drive this car, how to drive our professional. And and some people, they want to drive the car, but they don't want to take the course. They don't want to develop themselves to learn about the professional, learn some skill. And but as we learn, you know like exactly the people who want to be part of our organization or partnership with us or joint venture, they have to replace the fear with a strong desire to success. And when they do have the strong desire, because remember, the word desire is something come within, and Bob Proctor talk about it. It's something come from, yeah. And I think if we dig deep into the word, the really meaning of desire is to cut die with something, or give birth to something. I think that's the word, to give birth. You need to be like, I want to have a baby. I want to have a future. Want to have a better career. I want to have more money. I want to have more success in life. So you need to have that strong desire, not that come from external things, but come from inside. Because what we want in life, Proctor talk about it, once it's come from inside. And it has to come from inside. Otherwise, you won't have the big reason to stand up and get going when you fall down. That's why they said, when your why is strong enough, the excuses and the how will be disappear, or easy for you to move forward. So for people to move forward in life, they have to really work on themselves. Because we can jump into the water, and if we don't know how to swim, and we might be lucky someone rescue us, and sometimes we're gonna get drowned and learn the hard way. And I think for myself, when I learned to swim, I end up falling into the water and no one see me, and lucky someone noticed me from far away and rescue me. But that day I decided I'm gonna learn how to swim, otherwise I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
But I learned it in the hard way. But I should, if I go back in time, maybe I'll, because back in the island, my mom didn't, and there was no swim class. Or say you have to learn the hard way. You have to follow the boys, do exactly what they do, and you end up, one day you come back, you know how to swim. But it's a very important idea that we talk about.
That's what you're talking about. Like you're just copying somebody else. That's what learning is. You can copy someone else. And then you immerse your own kind of technique in it. Like it's firstly you can copy what someone else does, and then once you can handle the basics, then you can then your personality is allowed to flourish inside of that technique. Do you know what I mean? And you're exactly right. When the what to do and the how to do it is easy, when the reason why is strong. It really is. And especially when we're looking at network marketing, as silly as it is, they give you the what to do. They know the how to do it. The compensation plan's already there. Everything's there. You don't have to invent a product. You don't have to invent a service. You don't have to invent anything. You just have to be passionate about, what you're doing, and know the reason why you're doing it, and that reason why, yes, it can be a 90-day goal. It can be a 60-day goal, 30-day goal, goal for today, a goal for tomorrow, but then the long-term goal, what is it that you want? And that's the question that you're asking, make a decision, decide what it is that you want, plenty of vehicles out there to get you there. There really are, some are better than others. what does Eric Worre say? Like, he's not saying that network marketing is not perfect. It's just better.
Better.
And it is, like, when you think about the businesses that you're in, network marketing, low cost of entry, clear, plan, clear compensation, everything's clear. You get all the tools, and I mean all of the tools, like, to be honest, there's that many tools. You could be like, oh my God, I'm not sure what to do with all of these tools. Like, there's that many of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, the trips that you can win and everything else. And then you've got this other strategy, this money strategy, where you've got to have a few bob, to be able to invest, to build and buy premises and buy houses and be able to do all these things. So you're working two different strategies, which not everybody can do, but it was only a couple of years ago when you couldn't have done any of those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you didn't even have the mindset for it. You had to change first.
Yeah,
You had to decide, and if anybody doesn't know Joey's story, get onto his Facebook page, scroll down through the pictures, and you'll see that moment. You'll see that moment when change literally happened. And if you're in Sydney, don't forget, go along to check out Joey here at the Elevate.
Yep.
Opportunity.
And 2nd of May.
2nd of May.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12:30. You can scan that QR code to purchase a ticket. Tickets are only $10, I think. Why is this not showing on my screen? Hold on. So you can scan this QR code to get a ticket. If you're in Sydney or surrounding that area, go and check out Joey. He's one of the guest speakers, at the Elevate opportunity meeting. So go and check that out. All right.
And Mike, I just want to jump in on that one because I just want to share with our audience that sometime in life you have to develop your faith. You have to develop your courage to back yourself, and that's why when we look at football and sport, that's why they have a coach. They have accountability partners because sometimes those people can instill faith in you. And I, for your awareness, Mike is one of the people who see me on the stage before I was on the stage. He keep reminding me, he keep telling me, I'm gonna see you one day on the stage. I'm just gonna see you walk on the stage, share your story with the people. Hey, I have to be honest with you. I tell myself I'm not good enough. But I believe that someone was believing me, and I have to thank to my good friend, Mike McGillen. He keep instill, he tripping on me, he tell me. And when the moment come, the first person that come to my mind is my good friend Mike McGillen. And I say that because God work in a mystery way. He bring people into your life because you make a committed decision. As soon you make a committed decision, Bob Proctor talk about it. The resource will show up, the teacher will go up, the good friend will show up, the vehicle will show up. And you will surprise, the thing in Grow Rich said, when abundance and prosperity start to come, they will come in a big quantity. And that's why it keep me in the game, keep me stay in the trench and keep fighting and keep moving forward. Struggle, but keep moving forward. Sometimes I fear, but keep moving forward because I know when success come, I have to prepare for it. And that's why they keep drilling in us in our professional. Work hard on yourself, then on your business. Because they know when success open up the door, it will come in like a flooding. And you have to know how to handle that success. You know how to invest that success in something to get more in life. That's why the lotto, people who won the lotto, they just splash it in 1 or 2 years and don't know what to do. And they go back to broke because they haven't developed themselves to the level that match with that success. And that's why I love falling in love with our professional and with our business model, because you have to work hard on yourself first.
And that is a journey.
It's a journey.
Because you learn things about yourself, that you kind of knew, but you were lying to yourself about, and you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to get better.
Get better, yeah.
And, and Like once you realize that you're not good enough or you haven't been good enough, it just means that you can cut that off and say, right, I'm going to be better. From now on, I'm going to be better. Like I
Yeah.
used to always say, I used to always say, I'm perfect in my imperfect way.
Mm.
You know, I used to say it all the time, and people would go, "Oh, that's a great phrase. That's a great saying." And then one day I'm saying it, and I'm thinking, "What a load of horse shit that is." You know, every time I say it, you know, all I'm doing is I'm giving myself an excuse to not be better.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm perfect in my imperfect way. Of course, no one's perfect, but we can all be better.
Mm.
You know, stop giving myself excuses to be imperfect. Instead, give myself reasons to be better.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so we can trick ourselves, you know,
Mm.
into thinking that we're doing all right. You
Yeah.
know, okay, well, I'm doing all right, but I can want more. I can be
Correct.
better. I can do
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
You know, like we can all do more. Every time I go to bed at night, can I honestly lay my head on my pillow and say I did enough today? I can always do more. Always. There's always more I can do. Do you know what I mean? I can make another
Yeah.
phone call. You know, I can write another email. I can
Yeah.
respond to another email. There's always something I can do. I could do a bloody, you know, post on the social media. I could do anything. There's always more we
Absolutely.
can do. You know,
Yeah.
but one of the things about what we're doing, and I'm not saying that we're better than anybody else, I'm not saying that we're smarter than anybody else, but I think we do more than most, right?
Mm.
Knowing that we can still do more. You know, most people, and I was one of them. I was one of them. You know, get up in the morning, go to work, come home, watch Neighbours, watch, you know, soaps on the telly, watch soccer, watch football, go to bed, get up the next morning, and just repeat the same thing over and over again. Till the weekend, when I want to go out, have some dinner, have a few drinks, watch more soccer or sport, you know, maybe play something, do you know what I mean? Bit of pool, bit of snooker, maybe a bit of football, whatever, you know, and then back to work again. You know, and that's
Mm.
what most of us do. You know, that book that you're talking about, you know, this 4-year career, I'll just share this again if I can.
Mm. Great book. Great book.
It looks like a good book, Joey. I might get it.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, just the game changer for anyone looking to break free from the traditional 9-to-5 grind, you know, and create a life of freedom. 4-year career. It's a proven guide to breaking free from the traditional career path and building a life of financial freedom. 2 simple words: residual income will set you free from the exhausting cycle of trading time for money and relying on a 9-to-5 job. Instead of following the status quo, you'll learn how to create lasting wealth, leverage your time, and design a future where you come first: your success, your freedom, your dreams, your lifestyle. You know, like who doesn't like the sound of that? You know, like if I said to you, like, do you like the sound of that? Nah, nah. Oh, to be honest, Joe, you know, it just sounds like too much hard work to me, Joe. You know, that means that. Well, you want me to change? You want me to change? Are you joking? Oh, come on, you know. But this is what you're talking about. You were talking about this a moment ago. Like, you have to be ready.
Mm.
Timing is so important.
Yeah.
You know, like not everybody is where you're at right now. Sometimes, you know, things just haven't got bad enough. You know, what did you say? Professional blamer? That's
Yeah.
where they
Yeah.
want to be. You know, it's not until, you know, like to be honest, you couldn't give that book to someone who's a professional blamer. They'll find every reason why it won't work for them.
Absolutely.
You know, like they need to be given a different book. You know, you
Yeah.
know, one that, you know, aligns with them and gently persuades them that, hold on a second, why are you making so many excuses?
Mm.
You know, like the Magic of Thinking Big, chapter 2. Chapter 2 is all about a disease called excuseitis. You know, that'll quickly knock your socks off. And, you know, especially if you read it, you're like, fuck, this book's talking about me and how I'm making excuses for why everything's wrong in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Mm.
You know, when really it's because of me.
Yeah.
Wow, that is like an uppercut.
Absolutely.
Once you learn that about yourself, you're like, oh shit, now it's all my fault. My
Yeah.
life is shit because of me.
Yeah.
My life is great because of me.
Mm,
Doesn't matter, you know, like, so yeah, this stuff. Right, one more video, and then we're going to get your final thoughts, right?
absolutely.
Standing behind you, let's say in a mall,
Hold
and they're
on, hold on.
staring at you. You feel them staring at you, don't you?
Yeah.
Why? Feeling is conscious awareness of
Hold on,
vibration.
hold on.
If somebody's standing behind you, let's say in a mall, and they're staring at you, you feel them staring at you, don't you?
Yeah.
Why? Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. And when a person's staring, they're concentrating, they're sending such a powerful charge of energy at your brain that you start to feel it. You turn around, sure as hell, there's somebody there staring at you. Concentration increases amplitude of vibration. There's a power flowing to and through us all the time. It never stops. You can photograph the energy leaving the body. Concentration increases it, makes it more powerful.
Do you know, I do it all the time. I was driving down the road, and someone might be standing at a bus stop or something like this, and I'm looking at them, and I say to myself, you can feel me, you can feel me, you can feel me. And then all of a sudden they turn around, they look at me. And I say,
Yeah.
yeah, you felt me, you felt me.
Yeah.
And now last week I'm having trying to create a partnership, right? A strategic partnership with a company in the States. And we've had a few emails backwards and forwards, and I'm thinking, right, okay. And so I emailed him, and then I did a little follow-up email. The conversation's going along quite nice now, and I can sense that there's a little bit of fear, for their reputation. Maybe it's ego or whatever else. They're a big company, that I want to partner with for their software and everything else. So I'm driving around, and I'm literally talking to the person, saying, you can feel me, you can hear me. You want this, you want to do it. Yes, it's a big leap, it's a big risk for both of us. And I'm saying it to the universe with emotion, because I want him to feel me. I want him to feel me, because we talk about this, that energy, So, I'm expecting good things. I'm expecting good things to come. I'm telling him I expect good things. I'm sending these messages to him directly. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I think I'm going to get the deal that I want. But it's exciting. So I know that might sound crazy, but it's not crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like if you get what you think about, and if you get what you push out into the universe, and the universe has to respond that in kind. Now you don't know how you're always going to get what you want, but you're going to get what you think about. Do you know what I mean? You're going to become what you think about. So what do you think of that video that we just watched?
I'm glad you asked me, because there was something in my mind I wanted to say, and I think it's quite funny. After I married my wife, and later on we were talking how we attract each other, and this is a funny story. First time I saw her, they came with their family to host us in a group that we came, and the first time I saw her, I admire her, and I knew she's older than me, but I was telling a different story to myself. And the story I was telling myself, that I'm not old enough to be on her type. I was not have the financial situation, because I haven't worked at the time, and I knew she was already working. And I said to myself, maybe I am not her type. And that's the story I tell myself. But I kind of already have the attraction toward her. And I look at her, and like I said, I saw her. But one thing that I told I have a different story in myself. And my wife told me after we got married, the first time she saw me, I was speaking to represent the group that I came with. And the story she tells herself is that, what is a nice way to have a husband like this guy? He seemed to be a nice guy, have a nice attitude to life and people. And that's what I want. My wife said, this is what I was looking for, to someone that go to church, have a good attitude toward the people and life. And so that's the story here. So we both tell a different story. You know, I was telling a story that I was not good enough, but for some reason, like Bob said, when your focus and your attentions is concentrate on things, especially the good things, and my wife, maybe that's why we end up got married, because my wife focus and energy and attention were more far better and blessing than what I was thought of myself. And I have to say, I am very grateful I marry her, because I learn a lot of things in life, but I have mature as a young person, as a young father because of her. And you know, the opportunity that I I enjoy and be part of it in life, I give the credit to God, and also give credit to my wife, because she's one of the main reason I end up in Australia. You know, she poured her heart out, you know, her financial to allow me to come to Australia. And, you know, every opportunity I got to say to her, I just want to say thank you to you. Because, you know, for some reason we attract to each other, but it's funny, my story was different. I look at myself, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. I don't have the financial situation to compare to her. I was said to myself, I'm never gonna be in Australia. But things change then in a different direction, and for God willing, we were meant to be together. So, you know, I'm saying that in regard to that thing, and it's so true. You know, sometimes, you know, this is a good technique for those that single. You know, if you go to a pub and you like a girl, pay attention, focus, concentrate, because you have a tremendous amount of power and vibration in you to attract something into your life. And in believe it sounds silly, it sounds like stop that nonsense. But if you do that, it will work for you. If you focus on someone, but focus with good intention, focus with abundance, with prosperity. Imagine, you know, this person that I like, you know, will be feel more safer if she's with me. Imagine this person will have more blessing if she's with me. Instead of thinking the other way, like I used to do, I tell my story. But anyway, that's a great a concept, and it's come from our mentor and the one and only Bob Proctor, and it's so very powerful. You know, we feeling is a conscious awareness of vibration. Vibration is the signal that we release every single day from ourselves, from our mind, from our body. You know, when energy is flow, the attentions will grow. So, you know, I'm so happy and grateful that we were able to share this great concept with our audience tonight. And I hope we add value in some way.
For sure, Joey. And just so everybody knows, obviously you can find Joey on his Facebook page, Joye Maka Unga. Lots of content, lots of information. Don't forget, we have the Elevate Bigger Opportunity coming up on September or May 2nd in Sydney. If you're in Sydney, scan to get your ticket, go along and check out what Joey's doing, and you can learn more about what Joey's doing here on his business page. Links are in the description. Go and check it out. Opportunity to work with Joey either as a business partner or just as a mentor and coach to help get you to where you want to be. Just better health, better wealth, whatever it is. What is it that we all want? Happiness, health, and wealth. I was talking to a young lady the other day, and in the last 6 months, she's got a good attitude. She's happy. Her wealth has increased. Over the last 6 months, when I met her, she didn't have a lot, and she's definitely got more, but she can always get more too. But her health is a little bit on the downside. Do you know what I mean? One of those things isn't working properly. You need to spend some time and get it in order. And look, you can't change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, you've got to build a new model to make the old model obsolete. Like, if your way's not working, why don't you check out Joey's and see if that is going to help you? And of course, you can find me on my website, petsoftheisland.com/eacademy. And again, here's where we're teaching people how to do what we do, and you can get to keep every penny that you earn. And you can see a video. That's obviously not me on this picture, right? But I'm in the video. starting on your own pet care business. And again, you can arrange a call, by clicking on the call now button, bring it to this page, and you can just book a call for whenever you want, and we can have a conversation. And it should just be a conversation. And look, if it's not right for you, and Joey will be the same with you as well. If what we're showing you isn't right for you, or we don't think it's right for you, we'll be the first to tell you. Because it's really no more complicated than that. You have to be ready. And it's not my job to convince you this is the right thing for you, right? And I don't want that relationship with someone. Do you know? I'll be honest with you, Joey. There's plenty of people that come and work in our organization, and I tell them right up front, look, I want to work with people that I like and that want to work with me. Like, as if you come off this call and you think, oh my God, I don't even like Mick. That's okay. I won't lose sleep over it. But we're not going to work together. Right? Because I don't need two stags banging heads, all the time. I've already done that before, So, and it's not a case of do what I say, It's a case of, turn up as the best version of you, be personally responsible, and do what you need to do. I can't make someone do it. But if you turn up as the best version of yourself, and you're being personally responsible, when shit hits the fan, and it will from time to time, it's not intentional. It's not done on purpose. It's just an opportunity to learn how we can do something differently because we're not getting the outcomes that we want. So,
Absolutely.
You gotta love this stuff. We're gonna play the video. Joey, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come on here and do this. It is something that I enjoy, and it makes a difference for me. It makes me grow, and watching you grow is so inspiring. And reaching these new ranks and these new levels, and these new opportunities that are being handed to you because of your intention. It makes me proud of you, Joey. Right. See you next week, guys. Before Joey starts crying.
Stop it, Mike.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your step. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.